Hello and welcome to another video. My name is Caitlin and this is the start of lots of October fun. All this month I'll be doing a scary cute spooky month. It's going to be celebrating all kinds of fun spooky stories. The one rule is that what I draw and show here will always be safe for everyone, even people who don't like scary things. Everything here will just be scary cute. I'm kicking things off with this full-on poster featuring a mashup of a few different computer games made by Her Interactive. I grew up with these games and the Yellowback books. Just like the written stories, the computer games are a mix of classic capers and lighthearted mysteries, as well as some downright spooky ones. In this final composition, I ended up pulling elements mostly from the games, as well as hinting at the very first Yellowback cover I ever owned, Secret of the Old Clock and Hidden Staircase, as a double book. Nancy Drew and the Ghost Dogs of Moon Lake was probably one of the first scary things I ever watched or played, at least all the way through. I remember when I was pretty young, and I was playing this with my sister, maybe a friend too, but it was right after one of the scary parts in the game. We were in our bedroom with the lights out, getting super into it, and perfectly timed, all by accident, my mom comes in and scares the living daylights out of us, just trying to bring in a basket of laundry. I can't remember if we found that funny at the time, but it sure is funny now. Those games were a really big part of my childhood. They always came out around my birthday or my sister's birthday, so that was just kind of something we looked forward to doing all the time. Even through college, another great memory I have of playing one of these games in person with my sister was when we were both attending the same college, which was only one semester, and Shadow at the Water's Edge came out. That's one of their scariest games, and it got us even as fully grown college kids. So I have no idea how little kids would handle that. But I sure hope they're having as much fun as we had. The day this video goes up is also the first day for pre-orders on the first Nancy Drew game they're releasing since 2015. And even though I'm nervous to see how they've dealt with all their brand new changes, I'm also pretty excited to finally have a new Nancy Drew game to play. I'm hoping it's a new era of greatness. So all that out of the way, let's get to the art. This one, as you might imagine, was more complex than usual and needed more sketching, planning, and roughing out than I usually do. I started not by drawing, but by writing. I made a list of the games that I wanted to include, what sort of elements that really popped out at me from all of those games, what sort of things I wanted to make sure to include, how things meshed together, you name it. All words. Then I started very roughly sketching some of those elements to see how it would fit together. Early on, I landed with that sort of pose for Nancy, kneeling on the ground, holding a thing of interest, because it not only harkened back to that original book cover, Secret of the Old Clock, but it also allowed a great deal of room to put things around her. I knew I wanted that iconic flashlight beam in there somewhere as well. Using the trees to form a keyhole was perhaps a not-so-subtle nod to one of the longest-running jokes in the Nancy Drew game world, where she says, "It's locked," whenever she finds something that is indeed locked. I once again played with blurring the background in order to bring the focus to the front, and in this case, it really helped not just bring the focus, but it also added more depth and saved me from wasting a bunch of time detailing the back before I'd even touched the front. For lighting, after having so many pieces where I was so happy about how my lighting came out, I was sure that this one was going to add to the happy lighting pile. But alas, I don't think I got it quite right here. This may be a piece I come back to in the future and redo to see how far I've grown. But that's for future me to worry about. Current me used the warm and cold elements to further distinguish between back and foregrounds. The warm, inviting glow of the flashlight illuminates our hero and her companion, as well as the title itself. Off in the distance, an eerie blue from both the moon and a strike of lightning bear down on the house and leave a mysterious figure cloaked in shadow. An almost cold red is the only color to share between those two sides, spelling danger all across the board. Color was one of the biggest challenges after composition, so that's why it just pops, and I didn't record that bit of me messing around with it. Because there were so many elements to tie together, I decided I wanted to go for a more limited color palette. The old yellow back books with the blue font were my first thought, and I really wanted to play that up, the yellow and blue. That evolved into the warm and cool lighting, and I kept Nancy as an ambiguously blonde-ish color, so those who believe she's a redhead can imagine so for this as well. My Nancy in my head is blonde, but a typo in the color printing process led to a cover art printing featuring a red-headed Nancy, and future books beyond the first ones played into that. But she is blonde in my heart. One of the biggest coloring things I had to sort out for myself was when I wanted to make the dog one of the ghost dogs of Moon Lake, and the warm lighting just made him seem a bit too real, too grounded. To make him a ghostly blue or green would disrupt the thing I had going with the warm and cool lights, so I decided to go for the stronger visual distinction instead of remaining loyal to the games. Still a dog though, still counts. While I was spending so much time working on this, I was watching those Nancy Drew Twitch parties I mentioned in one of my other videos. Somewhere between sketching it and actually painting it, I was able to watch one of the Twitch parties as it was happening, not just the replay on YouTube. My work schedule finally allowed for that, and it was super fun to be involved in there. And I had mentioned this there, so I'm excited I can finally share it. Those Twitch parties are so fun to listen to as I work, and they remind me so much of playing them with friends growing up. So, Little Jackalope and anyone else out there at Her Interactive, if you're listening, thank you so much for making those. I hope you continue doing them, and I will continue to watch the replays on YouTube. As for anyone else watching, if you made it this far, thank you so much. I can't wait to share the rest of Scary Cute Spooky Month with you. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you next time. Okay, bye!